this could very well be Snake, but think about it. We don't know why he got snatched, or if he was snatched, and if he was, why would these people just kill him? Was it because he was getting too close to something he shouldn't have? Did he just know too much? Was he just too insightful, too perceptive? Clover said that when he became blind and he lost his arm, well, no, actually he said it himself, that he could hear things very, very sensitive. It had to be very faint and he'd know it. And in a fight, he could very well take care of himself. So I find it very hard that people were able to just get the jump on him and overpower him. You know? I just don't buy that. And second, she said he had a prosthetic arm. Now, I didn't pay too much attention to the details of the gore because it was just gore after gore after gore. But they mentioned something about an arm being ruptured. Now, what if that was the same arm, like on the same position that the one that Snake lost? That, of course, would make that body not his. And the detonator, the wristwatch, sure, that was there, but it was broken. We didn't get to see what number was on the lens. We didn't see if it was Snake's. For we know it could have been the ninth man's that was separated from him after his explosion took place. I just don't buy it. There's too little to go on to make sure that this is Snake. It could be anyone else. So for now, I'm gonna stay a little bit open. I see. So that's what you meant by killers, huh? You need at least 3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake. It won't open for Snake and a single killer. Exactly. That means we're looking at multiple perps here. Junpei crossed his arms and grunted. Okay, hold up. Hold up. Snake is 2. And 7 said he went through door 3. So, that would mean... 2, 7, 8, 9, 8, 10. No, I don't think it could have been any of us that did it. I'm not sure. Well, just in case I want to make sure. Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed? When we all split up to look for the parts for the Reds, I think. Right after that was when we noticed he was gone. Then that means none of us have alibis. We were all off searching the rooms we've been assigned, looking for those parts. Yeah. That means anybody could be a killer. Oh, wait a minute. What are you talking about? June seems shocked. How can you say one of us is a killer so casually? Well, not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least 2 of us are murderers. Why don't you calm down a bit, 7? What are you gonna gain by being so suspicious? That's what Zero wants you to know. What Zero wants? Exactly. The game was set up by Zero, wasn't it? Any game has a winner and a loser. Whoever makes it through door 9 is a winner, and those who don't are losers. Zero is trying to make us fight against one another for that victory. Then you're saying that Zero is trying to split us up by making us fight each other? Yes. That is why we can't let ourselves fall prey to suspicion. We have to trust one another and form a strong bond of friendship. Otherwise we'll end up ensnared by Zero's manipulations. Then does that mean that the person who killed Snake? Yes, almost certainly Zero himself. If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero. He masterminded this game and kidnapped all of us. Doesn't it seem reasonable that we would have killed Snake, that he would have killed Snake as well? Junpei hadn't really considered that. If Zero had killed Snake, then Zero was on the ship with them. Was Zero still on the ship with them? Okay. To answer this question, let's go back over things that we cannot explain. We cannot explain how the missing components of 3, 7, and 8 were replaced. We cannot explain why Snake disappeared. What else can't we explain? Well, fuck, there's a lot of things we can't explain, but... but actual events that we can't say this happened because of this. We cannot explain Snake's abduction, and we cannot explain the reactivation of these doors. So, that would lead me to think either at least one of us is very much aware of what's going on, then they're letting on, and they're kind of playing us themselves. Or Zero is here, or maybe it's someone else other than Zero, and not us. This is tough. I'm not sure. I can't say I'm certain of that. I don't know. He wasn't sure. Hey, I'm just wondering about one thing. And what's that? How can you be so sure that Zero's on this ship? Ace's eyebrows shot up. Really, Junpei? I confess I'm a little disappointed. Usually you're rather sharp. Isn't it obvious? Obvious? How so? This ship. Huh? Zero said this ship several times when he addressed us. I am Zero, the captain of this ship. The purpose of the game is simple. Leave this ship alive. As you have no doubt surmised, this ship has begun to sink, sorry. Yeah, he did, but that's just simple wordplay. No, Ace, now I'm the one disappointed in you, man. Do you think Zero's not capable of changing words just to make you think certain things? I mean, come on. That's a bit of a stretch. He'd be saying something like that ship or the ship if he wasn't on it. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Ace's explanation made perfect sense. Junpei felt a little foolish that he hadn't seen it himself. No, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. I mean, someone as methodical and such a perfectionist and to the fucking minor detail as Zero, seemingly so far with this game, I don't think he's just going to fucking balls up his introduction to his fucking contestants. That's bullshit. No, I'm not buying that one. Still, he was left with a question, and it was one of no small importance. If Zero's on the ship, where is he? Suddenly everyone went very quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. Again, he heard the ghosting, moaning noise. And moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was a cold monotone. I think Zero is one of us. You know you could be right, Clover. Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. Eyes darted from face to face. One of those faces was the face of their jailer. But who? Now, she could either be correct in this, or she could be wrong and playing into the real Zero's hand and further reinforcing this suspicion and making us be divided and fight among one another. Or she could be Zero herself in saying something like that. Instantly relieving all suspicion from her. No. Junpei said, I say that's possible. I say that it's not an impossibility. And I can't say something like, that's fucking crazy. I mean, look at what's going on. I've got a bomb inside my stomach. That is possible. Huh? Like Clover said, Zero might be one of us. What are you saying, Jumpy? Didn't you hear what Ace said? Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect one another for no reason. No reason? I've got a great reason. And what's that? The bracelets. He held out his left arm. Why are the bombs in our bodies connected to these bracelets? You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere, watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to do. It'd be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by the detonator in the bracelet? Huh. You got a point. I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the nonary game. All of the puzzles here run by themselves. In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward. Why is that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that? Junpei let the question hang in the air and looked at the others. It was Santa who answered. So let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us. If that's the case, then it'd be really hard for him to keep track of all of us, or control anything remotely. That's why all the puzzles run by themselves. That's what you're getting at, right? Yeah. Junpei nodded. 7. When we were talking earlier, you said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right? Well, yeah, something like that. Alright then, I got a question for you, Ace. You said something like, Zero must be the one who killed Snake, right? Yeah, something like that. I can't think of any other explanation. So what do we get if we combine those? They fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake equals Zero, equals one of us. 7 and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other pretty well. At least they do if Zero is one of us. No one spoke. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lotus spoke up. Well, what were his motives? His motives? Yeah. Isn't that pretty important? Why would Zero want to hide as one of us? Oh. Well, that's because, Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that. He had to be honest with himself. He had no idea. I don't know. Lotus sighed. Well, so much for making a persuasive argument, Junpei. In other words, you had only circumstantial evidence. I don't really think that's enough to go on, you know? Well, what is enough to go on, 7? There ain't shit to go on here. But the more we keep going, the more of us just keep dying. When are we actually going to stop and go, hang on a second, let's try and fucking eliminate some theories, even if we haven't got the fucking evidence? You know? Do more of us need to blow up before we start going, hang on a second, motherfucker, something ain't right here? Junpei was painfully aware of their eyes on him and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else to look at. Just when he felt he could bear it no longer. I knew it! They heard a bell begin to ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. 3 in the morning. That means we have 3 hours left. Then we need to move, now. 7, Clover, Junpei. I know how you feel, but you do understand that right now it's important we trust one another, don't you? Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. Ace. Bud. I mean, he's correct. Right now, we don't have any hard proof to go on, but something like this so well thought out, a part where you are kidnapped and made a fucking plaything, just a pawn, a tool, in a very twisted game, you're not going to get very hard evidence on figuring out, are you? Because someone who's going to plan this out successfully is going to be very, very precise, very well thought out, have no loose ends, nothing for people to go on and make a substantial case. But Ace, when it came to us saying, let's sacrifice someone, Ace was so quick to go, it's me, I'll do it, I'll be the one to stay here. And he refused to let anyone else take his place. And when we said, no Ace, we can't do that, let's go, and stuff, he claimed he injected himself and said, oh, I'm just sleepy, hoo-de-doo. And Junpei passed it off as, oh, it's him just being brave and forcing us to go on, leaving him behind. But what if, during that time that he was able to be alone, he was alone? Do you know what I mean? We have no one to account for his actions during that time that we were in doors 7 and 8. Yeah, I know, my chair's pretty squeaky. It's nothing but suspicion so far. But, still. And he's so quick to just go, it's zero, it's not one of us, it's zero, you know? We just need to trust one another. We can't let each other fall victim to this shit, you know? He's so big on banding us together. And he could legitimately be, you know, banding us together because he wants us to succeed. But his actions can be interpreted either way. I don't know what's going on there. He swallowed the words he wanted to say inside. Seven and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else, very far away. We must go. We have very little time left. Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going. Their next destination was Mercury. Shit, that's pretty fucking far away. It sat bolted to the wall near the stairs that led to the casino and the kitchen, between the two elevators. The Mercury card reader. Junpei stood in front of it with the Mercury card key. Seven had given him the card. I found it when we were checking out the shower room. At least, that's what he said. Oh! Stop it, game! Stop it! Junpei slid the card through the reader. The light on the reader turned green. Game volume is a little low? Okay. Whoa, how's that? Now they were ready. Junpei and June had been chosen as the investigators. The reasoning being that they had been to E-Deck before, and no one else had. As before, Junpei sent the elevator ahead, to make sure the floor that they were heading to wasn't flooded. As before, the elevator returned as dry as when it had left. Once it had been checked for water, Junpei and June stepped into the elevator. Yeah, it's really good music, isn't it? I wouldn't want you to miss out on it. There were only 2 floor buttons they could push. The C and bottom buttons. The rest were destroyed or did nothing when pushed. Junpei hit the bottom button. The door closed. Slowly they began to move downward. Sometime later, Junpei and June stepped off the elevator and onto the bottom deck. They stepped off and saw that the hallway to their right ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet from them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end. But not a regular dead end. Shit. This is a numbered door. This is the 8th one we found. There were 2 numbered doors on B deck, near the central staircase. They were doors 4 and 5. There were 3 more numbered doors in a large hospital room. Doors 3, 7, and 8. Junpei and June had found another door on E deck, and Lotus and Santa had found a 7th on A deck. There was a 6 on the door on E deck. And a 1 on the door of A deck. 4, 5, 3, 7, 8, 6, and 1. And now door 2 stood in front of Junpei. There was only one thing it meant. Do you think the next door we find? Yeah, I think so. The next one's gonna be door 9. Despite himself, Junpei felt excited. There was something about that excitement that frightened him as well. He did his best to put it from his mind and headed back to C deck with June. So we found all 8 doors already, excluding the final one. Alright, let's open these up. The pieces of paper they folded up lay on the ground next to Junpei's legs. There were 7 of them all told. They were written on paper pulled from Junpei's notebook, and each one bore a code name and a door. Why'd they decided to vote that way? They decided it wasn't fair to simply ask everyone at once. That would allow people to force others to go through certain doors. Well, that wasn't the only reason. Junpei had proposed a voting system, and he had a plan. It wasn't a plan he wanted anyone catching wind of, however, so he did his best to act as calm as he had been as he began to open and read the pieces of paper. The first one read, Ace requests door 1. Yes, I do. Would you like me to explain why? No, we don't have time for that, sorry. Let's keep going. He opened the second one. Next is Santa. He wants door 6. Yeah, that's what I wrote. Junpei continued with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th pieces of paper. Clover wants 1, Lotus wants 2, and 7 wants 2. Eh? Wait a minute. There's no way I'm going anywhere with that elephant man. No. There'd be no point to the voting if we'd let people change their choices because of stuff like that. But just give it up, Lotus. It's not like I want to hang out with some exhibitionist grandma. I'm not an exhibitionist. I'm wearing clothes. Barely. So? Last I checked, that's not a crime. Maybe. But what about common decency? Nobody wants to have to look at a chick who looks like a half-naked raisin. I'm gonna kill you. Whoa, you can't say shit like that in this game. Ah, it's cracking! It's cracking! Lotus's hair flared out like the mane of an angry lion, and she roared with a voice that shook the walls. With some difficulty, Ace managed to restrain her. Oh lord. Junpei, read the rest. Right. Junpei tore his eyes away and looked down at the 6th piece of paper. He opened it. June wants door 6. Yes. I don't really have a reason, I just felt like it. All of the papers save Junpei's had been read. He did some quick calculations in his head. People who requested door 1 equals Ace and Clover. That was the door on A deck, near the central staircase. People who requested door 2 equals 7 and Lotus. This was the door on the bottom deck, and could be reached by taking the elevator to the bottom of the ship. People who requested door 6 equals Santa and June. This was the door on E deck, and could be reached by taking the elevator near the central staircase down. It took him less than a second to run the numbers. He opened the 7th piece of paper and spoke. Okay, the last one is mine. I want to go through. Ooh! Is he making this one up? Are we just winging this? Oh man, I totally just forgotten who wants to go through what. Ace and Clover wants one, and I think 7 and Lotus wants 2. Santa wants 6? And June wants 6, I think. I think it's something like that. More or less. Trying to remember them all. Okay, so that means, who do I want to go with? Do I want to go Ace and Clover? Now that would be an interesting combination, wouldn't it? Santa in June? No, I don't think I want to go with Santa in June. But then again, the reason why I don't want to go with Santa in June is because I do not think that June in any way is a threat. And I think that, 1, simply because she's got this very innocent persona. 2, we have history with her, even though it's very vague and I don't know very much. And 3, she seems to be very pro-team. So I kind of feel like she's flying under my radar. Is that something that I want to keep letting go on, though? When I could probably get a better grasp on the person if I spent a puzzle with them. I've already spent a puzzle with Clover. And I've already spent time with Lotus and 7. While I'm sure the puzzle would be funny, I already know them to some extent. I do not doubt Lotus in any way of anything. I don't know why. She just seems like a straight shooter, you know? Like, she's been brutally honest. And that's something that, even though some people may not like to hear, I always at least respect. And I feel I can work with. So I don't worry about that. And I'm sure if 7 does anything suspicious, Lotus will pick up on it in an instant. So I can rely at least on Lotus to kind of do that for me. Damn it! Still, I don't like Ace. I don't like Ace. I just, something about him. My choice is door 1. Santa was unconvinced. Hey, wait a minute there. You cheating? Cheating? I'm asking if you changed your number after you heard what doors we wanted. How can I do that? I wrote it down on the paper earlier. Let me see that. Junpei shrugged and handed it to him. Santa examined it furiously. The others peered at it as well. As they did, Junpei quickly slipped the piece of paper he'd been hiding into his pocket. Although we'd never know it now, Santa had been justified in his suspicions. Junpei had switched papers. He had prepared 3 pieces of paper for doors 1, 2, and 6, and put the paper with door 6 on it into the pot. Okay, now I just had a random brainwave again now. So this wouldn't make sense. Or maybe. Right. This is probably just complete and utter drivel. Hear me out. At the beginning of the game, now that I think more about it, there's some inconsistencies, but still, it's something anyway. At the beginning of the game, Junpei wakes up. At the beginning, he has no idea what's going on. He looks in the mirror. He barely recognizes himself. Now, no matter how fucked up you are, save for being horribly mutilated, you would always recognize yourself and you wouldn't go, whoa, would you? Really? I mean, really? No matter how much bags are under your eyes, you wouldn't like, holy shit, who am I? Would you? But yet, he was so, for a moment, kind of like What's going on here when he saw himself? Maybe I'm thinking too much into that, but that's what happened anyway. And throughout this game, we've been suspecting so many people, and no one has cast suspicion on us. Whenever it comes down to questioning something, we're always so quick to go, but what about this, and this? You know? Well, we're thinking it's ourselves justified, that yeah, this is legitimate things that we're bringing up here. What if it is just Junpei Zero, yeah, purposely just fucking around with the contestants and also us, the player? He's fooling us, the player, as well, even though we are controlling Junpei. That's true. How did June recognize him then? Good shout, Dragons. That's all I'm gonna look at, chat, just in case something gets brought up, but yeah. Perhaps June could be an accomplice? But that awkward meeting of theirs, then that wouldn't occur. Or maybe it's just being played out to the player in a distorted way. Maybe our monitor is broken. Damn it, I don't know. But enough of that for now. He had prepared 3 pieces of paper for doors 1, 2, and 6, and put the paper with door 6 on it and into the pot. And right now we're manipulating people. We're playing them as we want to. But us, the player, is like, that's okay, we're doing this because we have legitimate concerns and suspicions that we want to figure out and put, you know, closure on. But what if that's not what Junpei's intentions are? I don't know. He put a small mark on it, so that he would know which one was his. He put the paper that said door 1 in his left hand and the paper that read door 2 in his right. Oh, sorry, my brain shitted on myself then. When the drawing began, he saw to it that he drew last. The rest was easy. If he wanted to go in door 1, he used his left hand, and his right hand if he wanted door 2. Of course, he wanted door 6, that would be simple. All he would need to do was switch nothing, and say 6 had been what he wanted all along. Well, what does it say? He fought the urge to smirk. You got lucky. Santa snorted and tossed the paper aside, frustrated. See, now that clears my suspicions of Santa. I am cleared of Lotus and Santa. I even suspect myself now. But that is if Zero is one of us. Right. Very well. We decided who will go through door 1. It will be Clover, Junpei, and myself. 1 plus 4 plus 5 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. 1 plus 0. I don't know why that stood out to me there, but it made me smile. Our only problem is the 2 remaining teams. June and I want door 6. I'm gonna look back at some of my videos and test a certain theory I have once this is done. June and I want door 6. Lotus and I want door 2. That's not good. We can't open either of the doors with only 2 people. Fine. 7, we'll go through door 6. Sure thing. I didn't really want to go through door 2 anyway. Besides, if we've got a younger girl with us, it'll lower the average age. Right, June? Well, June was at a loss for words. Lotus was not. That pig. You just wait and see. Her eyes were the eyes of a woman prepared to kill. A shiver ran down Junpei's spine. Even after they separated at the staircase, Lotus was still muttering angrily to herself. Yo, Lotus. Get that shit on lock, son. Cause, yeah. I need you with a clear mind. Circumstances dictated that Junpei and June would have to part ways again. We have not been in a single room together. Now I wonder if that's purely coincidental, because we've always had the choice to be together in a room, haven't we? But at that time, I don't know. Junpei and June would have to part ways again, but this time it didn't sting quite so much. After all, he knew he would see her again. Till we find that door 9, Zero ain't gonna split us up. We might get separated for a while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we can't open door 9. That's how the nonary game works. Junpei, Ace, and Clover headed towards A deck. They took out the Earth key and opened the door to the left. It opened, and they walked through. It was just as Santa and Lotus had said. At the end of the hallway sat a door with a large red 1 upon it. A numbered door. To the left of it, bolted to the wall, was the red. Ace went first and waved his wrist over the scanner panel. Junpei was next. Finally, listlessly, Clover lifted her arm. She leaned toward the scanner panel. She's been very quiet, hasn't she? I mean, considering, yes, she assumes Snake is dead. I still don't think he is. The only thing she had to say was, I think Snake is one of us. Not Snake, sorry, Zero. Now, before Clover had any time to say why she suspected that, everyone jumped in. Junpei jumped in with his theories. Followed by Seven and Ace, you know? Not once did we stop to go, why? Why do you think that, Clover? And we still haven't, and she hasn't bothered to tell us. The third asterisk clicked to life, shining brightly. Ace took hold of the lever. He took a deep breath and turned to Junpei and Clover. Are you ready? Shall I pull it? Yeah, anytime. Clover said nothing. She nodded, little more than a lethargic twitch of the head. Very well then. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Beep, 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 beep. The door opened. They stumbled into the room. Shit. Frantically, Junpei scanned the room. His eyes stopped on the device that would determine whether they lived or died. There it is. Over there. Next to the door they'd come through was the dead. As one, they ran to it. They put their hands over it as if they were fighting for it. Sweet. It stopped. Yeah, it did. Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. Ace and Clove were breathing hard and fast. It was the third time they'd been through the process, but they had yet to grow accustomed to it. Not that Junpei wanted to. He planned to finish this game before he got a chance to let imminent death become commonplace. Junpei looked around again, this time more slowly. Right, 1, 2, 3. There was another door, different from the one they'd entered through. He took hold of the knob and easily, gently pulled it open. Huh! So this is the wheelhouse. He closed the door again and turned to Ace and Clover. He fixed each in turn with a meaningful stare and spoke. Ace, you investigate the wheelhouse next door. Very well. Clover, you're in charge of this room. Say something. Okay, I will. Alright then, let's get started. Once more. We must seek a way out. Ugh. Okay, this is quite a haunting soundtrack. A light. Looks kind of like a wilted flower. A chair. A chair? Clover isn't talking much. I guess that's understandable. I mean, she has been through a lot. Really, it's more surprising that she's still together enough to talk at all. Map, sweet. Nautical charts. A part's been ripped off. I think this is a nautical chart? There's this line on it. Here. I think the line is the route the ship is supposed to take. There are these dots all over the map. Ah, these are probably ports for like a boat to stop at. It looks like the lines connect the dots.